Let's take a look at the high-level probe in a little more detail now. The investigation was made public only last week when police launched raids at dawn against the offices of businessmen and others close to the Prime Minister. It concerns allegations of bribery, particularly for construction projects. You'll perhaps remember the protests in the summer in Gezi Park in Istanbul over controversial building projects there. There are also allegations of money laundering, including transferring cash to Iran in contravention of US sanctions. And around $4.5 million in cash has reportedly been recovered from the home of the chief executive of the state-run bank, Halkbank. Let's get more on this now from Isil Sariyuce. She's in Istanbul. How smoothly is the government functioning now after all these resignations and reshuffles?
Sami, it's a smooth day compared to yesterday. Today, new ministers are handing over, so now there is a fresh cabinet in Turkey. Among the new ministers, there is a name, very significant name, Efkan Ala. He is going to be in charge of being the Interior Affairs Minister of Turkey. It's an exceptional name because he wasn't in the parliament previously. He wasn't an MP. He is appointed from outside the parliament, which is a very rare case, in fact, in Turkey. He's a former governor, he's a bureaucrat, and he's known to be a trusted name by Erdogan. So he's known to be supporting the tough measures taken by the police during the Gezi protests earlier this summer. So he was supporting the measures taken by the police, and now that name will be in charge of the police department in Turkey. So we can read it like that. Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan is planning to deal with the internal opposition in Turkey.
All right, talking of protests, what's planned for today? How is the street reacting?
Yesterday evening, there were some protests in both sides of Istanbul and also in Ankara. There were some thousands of people, and I have seen the signs who were asking Erdogan to resign. So far this morning, it's calm. There may be something bigger in Friday evening. There were calls for that. So Erdogan, as I said, Erdogan will need to deal with that protest as an internal opposition. But that's not the only opposition, internal opposition. There is also the Gülen movement, who is known to be in a food for the last for the last week especially, but also before that. He's a cleric, a Muslim cleric based in the US, and Gülen movement is known to be strong both in judiciary and in police departments. So Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan will need to deal with that opposition as well. There is a National Security Council meeting today, and we don't have the official agenda of the meeting, but we can only speculate that the Gülen movement is going to be one of the articles in the agenda.
All right, thanks so much from Istanbul, Isil Sariyuce.